Hey guys, it's Kelly. I'm back with another process video, and I just flipped that beautiful Felicity Jane paper over just to show you my dilemma. I love both of the sides and want to use both. So it was very hard for me to make the decision to use this really pretty turquoise or teal, whichever color you want to call that, and it just, I guess it's turquoise. Yeah, it's turquoise. Anyway, it was hard for me to decide, and my initial thought was, okay, I will use this and then I will make a layout on the back side of it, and I go and then I staple something. So I still have not put that idea out of my head. I might try to figure out what I can do to use that beautiful black and white horizontal stripe. So anyway, back to what I've got going on now. I have this cut file, and I went to look in my cut files to see if I could find who made this cut file, and it has like disappeared. And when I was trying to pull it up on my Silhouette software, I must have not put it in there. So I usually put in who makes the files if they're not from Silhouette Store. So I apologize for that. I even went and looked on my computer to see if I could find it, and it is not there. So if you know who makes this file, please let me know, because I like to give credit when I'm using somebody's, files or things like that. So this is a picture of my son, and he had his end of the year recital, and I wanted to go ahead and get this page made. He plays trombone, and this recital was the first time that when I actually listened to him play, he gave me goosebumps. It was haunting. He played Song for Japan as his recital piece, and it was just beautiful. And I wanted to get this done, relatively quick for me. I don't scrap in order. I don't scrap, chronologically. I just kind of go with whatever is floating my boat at the minute. So what I'm trying to do also is convince myself that if I am going to buy Felicity Jane kits, I can make masculine layouts, or at least a layout that looks good for my son as well, because it doesn't make sense for me to get a kit that I can't, make boy pages with as well, even though I don't scrap nearly as many boy pages as I do girl pages, and that is just because he is so darn difficult to get a photograph of now. And, he's just shying away from the camera and doesn't want his picture taken, and, I find that I just really have to be conscientious of when he's not paying attention to me to try to get something on film. So anyway, back to what I'm doing. I have just taken some of the tissue paper that comes with the Felicity Jane kit, the polka dot, and layered several layers behind the photo. And then I just took a couple more of the Felicity Jane papers and layered them behind the photo and put it on some foam just to give it a little bit of dimension. And that piece right there that I just cut was the branding strip off that piece of paper, and I was going to see if I could get it to, just work in amongst the layers, but I decided not to. I felt like I didn't want it to compete, that I felt like the only blue that I really wanted was the blue of the background, and then to let everything else be black and white. The cut file I cut out of this gorgeous cross-hatched Felicity Jane paper. It's turquoise. I don't know that you'll be able to tell. I can't tell on my screen with it being this small, but hopefully you will be able to see that, and if not, you can see it in the close-ups for sure. But it just turned out really beautifully, and I was very pleased with the way that the cut file came out. Except when I did cut the cut file out, you can see that part of it got cut off, and that's what I was trying to see if I could hide. And because my original thought was that I wanted to have the other half of the cut file be on the right hand side, but I could not get that to look right, since just like a couple of the the stars got cut off. I don't know what happened, but I was not about to cut the cut file out again because I didn't want to waste that piece of paper, and I just figured that I would make it work. So I pulled out these black Heidi Swapp letter stickers from my stash, and I really liked the way that added more of just I don't know quite what I wanted to say. It's something about the title was This Moment, and I'm going to journal about how he just really took away my breath and gave me goosebumps, and it felt like it gave it the weight that I wanted. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It just, some things just feel right, and reflect the mood, I guess, of what you're trying to scrapbook, and that was what I was going for. So I pulled out this white piece of paper because I was still having palpitations about using that beautiful sheet as the background, and I will tell you that I do go ahead and use that sheet, the blue, as the background, but I was just trying to see if I could get it to work on white, and I decided that either way, if I used it on the blue or white, I did want to go ahead and outline my layers just to add just a little bit of contrast so that you could see the different layers. And this is where I realized that I really feel like the cut file needs to be outlined as well. So I decided to do a star underneath where my photo is going to be, just to test it out and to see if it really does make a huge difference, and it did. So I'm not going to bore you with me outlining the whole cut file. Fortunately, I don't mind the outlining as much. It did take me a while, but for me, if I just turn on the TV and listen to what's going on, it's one of those therapeutic things for me. So I decided that I wanted to add some white mist to the background as well, and I just used my Dylusions white linen mist and splotched a few on the page and then set it aside to dry. And while it was drying, I decided to go ahead and stick together my layers just so that I could keep working on the page. I am not the most patient when it comes for drying time, so I like to be able to, get as much done in my scrappy time as I can. So I decided to go ahead and chance it and see if I could work without smudging the white. And I did a pretty good job. I think I ended up only smudging one little piece, and I was able to salvage it, so that didn't bother me. So when I'm doing my title, I realized that before I stuck it down, I needed to go ahead and adhere my photo because the title is going to overlap that bottom piece of pattern paper, and I'm trying to make sure that the letters are not only put on straight, but that the part of the M overlaps that piece of paper so that you don't see part of the piece of paper in between the M, if that makes sense. I like the cleaner lines, and so when I go to put this part of the title on this, I'm going to line up the H first so that I can make sure that that H is over top of the line as well, for that very reason. So I just took these two pieces of branding strips and layered them together to kind of make a shelf for my title, and thought that it would make a great place. I didn't want it to be too heavy since the title was pretty bold, and I wanted something to delineate where my title was and then where my journaling would be underneath. So I'm just flipping up the letters. When I put down the branding strips and made sure that it was on straight, the letters, some of them weren't quite on top of it, so I was just being fussy about where the letters were. And these Heidi Swapp letter stickers are pretty sticky. I was it's like the foam thickers, they stick pretty well. So I did pull out this flare, and I'm not sure if it came with this kit or with another Felicity Jane kit, but it said good stuff, and I just liked the placement. It covered up some of that awful red carpet, and you know, I just felt like it helped bring attention to the title as well. So I decided that I wanted a cluster up in that top right hand corner just to bring some balance to the page, and I am just using some of the flags that come with the kit and just layering a few of the tags on top. And I have one of the cut aparts included this black phrase or the black sticker that says play more, and I thought that was perfect to add to this page. And so this is where I'm not thinking and I staple. And after I did it, I thought, oh, I can't believe you just did that. You know, stapling was fine, but I did not mean to staple through the entire piece of paper, because I had in my mind that I was going to flip the layout over and use it for something else. And I know that I still can. It just makes it a little bit more, not difficult, but I'm going to have to plan a little bit better. And sometimes I can be a lazy scrapbooker. I don't necessarily want to plan my layouts. I like to just go with the flow. So I have these puffy stickers that are just incredible, and I was trying to see if I could get any of the others to work. And I went through my stamps and found one of hers that had some more stars. So I went ahead and did my journaling, and I'd already told you what I had said about it. Just, you know, the fact that, you know, it gave me goosebumps and it brought tears to my eyes. It was kind of funny. There was a guy in the audience, you know, it's with some kids that are, you know, 5th, 6th grade, and my son is actually now the oldest, and when he started playing A Man in the Back, actually kind of blurted out, "Oh my gosh," you know, because it's kind of different to listen to somebody who, I feel like, you know, you can say Patrick is a musician versus the kids, you know, when they're just learning. And it was just kind of neat. It's a proud mom moment, that's for sure. So anyway, that's pretty much the layout. I stamped the stars on it, and I have some stills at the end. Just wanted to thank you guys for joining me today, and to all of my new subscribers, welcome.